Hello, this is Eric of NotBIOS, and this video is about how to use or set up your Elgato Wave XLR, especially initially, and the basic settings of this device. One thing I did miss when recording, which I'll explain right now, is on the device itself, right here to cross between the different settings, just press this button. Tap it quickly, and then each volume is going to show respectively. Now let's continue on. Let's get started. So you got yourself the Elgato Wave XLR. One of the first things you want to do is download the software, but if you powered your device on, be very, very careful that you have a phantom power mic, because if that 48-volt light is on, that's only for phantom power. A dynamic microphone like the Shure SM7B or this MV7 I'm using right now will be damaged. And if this light is on, hold this center console, push it in for 3 seconds about, and this light should go off. Now, what you want to do is go to Downloads. And you want to select the product, which is Wave XLR, and download it for the operating system you're using, be it Mac or Windows. I'm using Windows. And then you're going to click the download. Once it's downloaded, we can start the install. And from there, everything should be basically straightforward. And you just follow next until you're done. At one point in time, it's going to tell you disconnect the USB power, or you just leave the USB power off because you'll have to replug it in after. So if you have everything installed, what you might want to do is reboot your computer first and then go to the software that was installed. And from there, we're going to select our settings. You'll probably be at 48 kilohertz. You can go to 96 if you want the best quality. And then you have your input gain, how much gain power there is to the microphone. So if I go lower, this should also lower the volume respectively. So if it's higher, you can have more volume. 48-volt phantom power. Again, that's for phantom power microphones, not dynamic microphones. And right here, mic or PC mix. So if I go down this direction, I'm going towards microphone, and it's going to get rid of the monitor, which right now I'm recording to the PC, and so for me that's monitor recording to the PC. Low cut filter off. That means it's basically the way a mic is by default. 80 hertz generally gets rid of that low rumble that causes interference with your microphone from sounds around you. And 120 hertz tends to be more aggressive, which I believe 80 hertz, if I'm correct, was for closer to the microphone, while 120 is for further away. Clip guard stops from actually the sound clipping and getting really bad audio from having too high of an audio level. Now, wave gain lock. I have an explanation on the page below here. Let's see what it says. It prevents programs from changing the gain of the Wave XLR through methods such as automatic gain control, if you don't want your volume being changed without your permission per se. And color settings, this is the wheel around your Wave XLR. So if your regular volume is set, it's going to be white, and if it's muted, it's going to, those dots around the front scroll wheel will turn red. And if you want to save the settings you have, so if I want to save these particular settings, I'll press this, save settings to hardware. And now when I reconnect the device, these settings should remain just as they are saved. So let's say you're doing live streaming, you have your mic connected, but you want to have your game on a separate channel. Right here, channel 2, audio. So if I have a game, I can select my game right here for separate audio and separate audio channels as I need, depending what I have through the software. So that's one of those useful things. And you can change, of course, what you're streaming through. So that's kind of cool. And your monitor mix. So you can choose your headphone, Elgato, or what other device. So if you want to mix other devices that are listed here, you can choose that for playing your audio through those devices. And now for those that want more of a visual explanation. So right here, pressing this button in for 2 seconds will turn on or off phantom power. Phantom power is used for condenser microphones. Dynamic microphones will be damaged if it's left on, like this MV7. The only way I can turn it on is if I have a preamp that takes that 48 volts and amplifies it separately. And right here is what our setting is. So the higher you go lights wise, the higher it is. So our first setting here is the gain volume on the microphone. So if I turn that up on here, we have more volume for a microphone. Next one is the volume to the headphone out, which right now the headphone out connected to this camera, so I get more volume in my case to the camera. Your next one is the monitor, which my monitor is my computer. Mix between that and headphone volume. So that's a percentage of slider between each device. Now on the back end, we have our mute button, which you've probably seen several times. White lights, default, or volume. If I push it, it turns red. So now I have volume. You can change the color in the software for what color you want the lights. So that's kind of cool that way. On the back end, we have our usual fixins, which is a USB-C, XLR, and 1/8 jack to 1/8 jack on my camera at this particular time. But yeah, it's 1/8 out. The headphone out will start to hiss when you turn it up most of the way up. So I'd stay at least 4 dots from the maximum if you don't want to hear hiss out of your auxiliary port. And in terms of the actual USB to PC, you can crank it up pretty good and it controls the hiss pretty darn good. So you got some good preamps in this for avoiding any hiss. So don't get overloaded so easy like most other devices. Hopefully this guide came very useful to start out. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day.
This is not BIOS, tech and hardware.
I'll have links in the description of this video if you need to know the explanation of what different settings are, or if you want to know where the drivers are. I'll have a link to Elgato's website. Thanks again. Have a great one.